श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्ताम् सदा हृदि। रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम्। ஷீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्यवर्यो मे निधत्तां सदा हृदि। रामानुजदया पात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे வேதாந்ததேசிகம். சீரொன்று தோப்பல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் வாரொன்று சொன்ன பழமொழியும் ஓரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணி வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேர போமளவும்.
So we saw that all the 14 watches, they are witnesses to all our actions, and the chief supervisor is Sarvasakshi, namely Lord Srimanarayana. He is Sarveshwaraha, all powerful. He is the greatest leader, and therefore so we have to be careful in our actions. Tan Shaktana irukka cheide chila chalangalale tanakku shakti illamaye kaati Sochan Nivarudhan Nivar. I think we must look at the Sanskrit part of it. என்கிற கணக்கிலே கண்ணழிக்க பெறான். Now, in certain situations, Lord acts as though he is powerless or he has little power, and therefore, so he wants to say that others must do the duty. And therefore, Tan Shaktana irukka cheide, though he is capable of extending protection to the surrenderer, Shila Chalangalale, just to dupe, rather the intention of duping is not actually can be called cheating. He is just playing. So he is playing with us and saying, so Chila Chalangalale, because of some wavery nature of the other people, Tanakku Shakti Illami Kati. He shows himself as powerless. Now, with regard to the incidents in Ramayana, one example is why should Rama seek the help of Sugriva in search of Sita? He need not have got friendship with Sugriva. He is capable of doing it by himself. He knows that Ravana has abducted her, and already there were so many proofs. Jatayu said before death, Jatayu, the bird eagle, said to Rama that Ravana has taken her away, and Sampati confirmed the words of Jatayu that actually Sampati was able to see Sita in Ashokavana from a distance, from a very long distance. Sampati is the name of the elder brother of Jatayu. So he is also a bird in the species, eagle species. So again, So many other proofs also there. But still, Rama wanted help from Sugriva. Now, what is the meaning that Rama wants help from others? Though he is an almighty, Sarveshwara, all-powerful, because he wants to involve ourselves with devotion. In fact, all of us know that monkeys are the incarnations of gods. They are God's children, if at all we call them. So Indra's son is Vali. Son's son is Sugriva. And we consider even Hanuman as the incarnation of Lord Shiva himself. In some Puranas, we call him as an incarnation of Shiva himself. As to the natural quality of Lord Shiva, he gets angry also. Hanuman gets angry. And therefore, so we have so many. So the gods must help him. Then what is the necessity of the gods? Yeah, Madhva says he is Vayu, right? Because Vayu is Putra, chip of the old block, son of the father. Therefore, we call him Vayu. That's different. But we have a concept that he is an incarnation of Shiva also. So in this project, namely Ramayana, Rama needs a coordinator, co-coordinator. And that's why he needed the help of Sugriva. And especially when we have a company, a large contingent, if you want to say, for the protection of the surrenderer. And that means the action is right. So the action done by a protector is right, is confirmed as a good action if many people join. And therefore, if many people join, then others will not raise a question whether protection of Vibhishana is right or wrong. They will not argue. So that is one of the reasons why we must always get a society's approval. A big group, what do you call, NOD. And therefore, we will take up the Sanskrit. If I think it is not given there in the notes. Sochan means Sochan means he is grieving, he is sad. Sochan iva, Rudan iva. Okay, you have to read it separately. Sochan iva, comma Rudan iva. As he is as though sad. He is not really sad, but looks sad. In the case of Rama also, separation of Sita made him sad. And Hanuman was wondering why Rama was pining for a single wife. And after only seeing Sita, he said, Rama's heart is made up of stone. He is hard-hearted. Otherwise, he should have, by just 1 second separation from Sita, Rama could have ended his life. So that was the opinion of Hanuman after seeing Sita. But generally, as kings are polygamists, Rama was also expected to be a polygamist, marrying many women. And therefore, Hanuman thought he need not worry about the wife, the only wife. He could marry some other women also. So that was the opinion of Hanuman earlier. So you hear, so in that way, Sochan Niva, Rama acts as though he is sad. And then Rudan Niva, he is also as though weeping. As though weeping. So Rudan Niva. என்கிற கணக்கிலே கண்ணழிக்கப்படாம். Suppose the protector acts as though he is weak and he is sad that he is not able to protect the surrenderer, and therefore he is weeping also, he cries, then that will not absolve him of the sin that he has not protected the surrenderer. என்கிற கணக்கிலே, in that calculation, we say, கண்ணழிக்க பெறான். கண்ணழிக்க பெறான் is he cannot be released from the sin of non-protection of the surrender. That's the meaning here. So he won't be spared. Rama will be squarely blamed for not protecting Vibhishana, even though he shows himself or acts as though he is weakened and he is also sad and crying. So tat papam. So that means even then he will the sin will accrue to him. Tat papam, that sin. Anda papatin kodumaiye keli. Now, it seems there is a story of conversation, a dialogue between King Nahusha and Brihaspati, the Devaguru, the teacher of gods. We find that in the argument between King Nahusha and the preceptor of gods, namely Brihaspati, it's very popular. The effect of the sin, the consequence of the sin is understood. Atiprasiddhamai kaanum irupadu is very popular. Idin kodumaiye, we will go to the next page later. Sharanagatam nat tyajeyam indranim cha yashasvinim dharmajnam dharmashilancha nat tyajeyam aninditam na akaryam kartum ichchami brahmanas san visheshataha shruta dharma satyashilo janan dharmanusasanam. I think the source has not been given even in the notes. So here now Indra is talking, the god of gods, the leader of 33 crores of gods is talking. Nat tyajeyam, I will not give up. That means I will protect. Who? Indranim. Maybe this is a statement of Nahusha. Nahusha became the king of gods once upon a time because of the curse of Durvasa on Indra, and that's the background story that all of us know, namely Vishnu, Lord Vishnu gave a garland to Durvasa in honor, and Durvasa in turn gave it to Indra. Indra gave it to the elephant, Airavata. The elephant trampled over the garland by putting it under its foot. And therefore it was an insult to Durvasa. Durvasa cursed Indra. Then Indra lost his post. And therefore Nahusha occupied for 1 year, it seems. And Indrani, the lady, the queen, generally of the god of God's wife, she surrendered to Nahusha. So Sharanagatam Natyajeyam Indranim cha yashasvinim. Nahusha's statement, she is a famous lady. She is very famous and popular. So Indranim, the lady called Indrani, Sharanagatam, she has surrendered to me. So Natyajeyam, I will not give her up. That means she is a good lady, dharmajnam, she knows what righteousness is. Dharma shilam, she is a disciplined woman according to the Shastras. So, and natyajeyam, so he says, repeats twice the word. I will not leave her, that is, I will protect her. Anindita, she is unblameable. So again, next statement is, I think, Brahmanaha son. I don't know, I think the character changes. I think Brahmanaha, Brihaspati, maybe Brihaspati Guru of the God says, Brahmanaha son, being a Brahmin, Visheshataha especially, na akaryam kartum ichchami. I won't do any bad action. Na akaryam kartum ichchami. Because I know Janana means I know, Dharma Anushasanam, all the constitutional rules of righteousness. Shruta Dharmaha, I have heard them also. I have understood them also, I have studied them also, and I am a Satyashila. I am always truthful. So my discipline is speaking truth. So maybe these two paragraphs, two slokas also are said by Brihaspati, the god of the guru, the teacher of the gods, because Indrani might have surrendered to Brihaspati, and therefore she must be saved. So, புகழ் பெற்றவளும் தர்மத்தை அறிந்து அதை அனுஷ்டிப்பதையே சுபாவமாக உடையவளும் ஒருவித தோஷம் இல்லாதவளும் என்னை சரணமடைந்தவளுமான இந்திராணியை ஒரு காலம் கைவிடேன். She is famous, புகழ் பெற்றவளும் தர்மத்தை அறிந்து அதை அனுஷ்டிப்பதையே சுபாவமாக உடையவளும். Her innate nature that she knows what dharma is and what she follows the rules particularly meticulously. ஒருவித தோஷம் இல்லாதவளும், she has no blemish on her character. என்னை சரணமடைந்தவளுமான, because she surrendered to me, I will not give her up. இந்திராணியை ஒரு காலம் கைவிடேன். மேலும் பிராமணனாயிருந்து கொண்டு, so being a Brahmin, தர்மங்களை, to go to the notes of 122, தர்மங்களை எல்லாம் கேட்டும் சத்தியசீலனாயும் தர்மங்களின் விதியை எல்லாம் அறிந்தும் இருப்பவனுமான நான் செய்யத்தகாத காரியத்தை செய்யேன். So we have to find out the exact source of this. Now here let us go to page 121 for the notes.
Swami, இது பாரதம் Swami. பாரதம் உத்தியோக பருவம்.
பாரதம் உத்தியோக. Okay, then Nagusha should have said it. But Nagusha is not a Brahmin, he is a Kshatriya. So what we see here is, let us look at the page 120 under the notes. Right. What are the 14 witnesses? The list is there. We forgot to see that. So 14 sakshigalum, that was the last line in page 120. So Aditya, the sun, Chandra, the moon, Avani, Chandrau, Anilaha, the wind, Analaha, the fire. So number 1 is sun, number 2 moon, number 3 fire, number 3 wind, 4 fire, then Dyauhu, the sky, that is 5. Bhumihi, the earth, the god of the earth. Number 6. 7, water, Apaha, waters of the ocean. Hridayam, the heart, one's own heart. Then Yamahacha, the god of death. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then Ahahacha, the day. Cha means end. Ratrihicha, the night. Then Ubecha, Sandhe, both the twilights, morning twilight and evening twilight. 11, 12, 13, 14. Dharmascha janati narasya buddhi. The man, any human being's action is identified by all these 14 witnesses. Dharmahacha, the righteousness. Dharma is we call it a devata, even a god. Dharma devata. So Suryan, Chandran, Vayu, Agni, Akasham, Bhumi. Again, I think it is not given there. It is, I think we must search in the Google to find out the source. As Rajagopala Swami said, it should be available in Mahabharata also. Generally, it's a general rule, and you may find it in many books also, but especially in Mahabharata, because it is connected with. So, Jalam, Manadu, Yaman, Pahal, Iravu, Kalai, Malai. Kalai, Malai, it refers to the twilight, Sandhya Kala. Dharmam, in the 14 ஒவ்வொரு மனிதனுடைய நடத்தையையும் அறிகின்றன. அதற்கு சாட்சிகள். So we go to 121 or rather 122, right? 122, right? 122. So again, there are two Sanskrit verses given in translation into Tamil. So let us look at the notes straight away. Na aham etat karishyami. Gachadvam vai surottamaha. Asminscha arte puragitam brahmana shruyatam idam. Nacha asya bijam rohati rohakale. Nacha asya varsham varshati varshakale. Bhitam prapannam pradadadi shatrave. Nasontaram labhate tranam ichan. Now, should be Nahushar addressing the gods. Ahayal nan idai cheyya maten. Na aham etat karishyami. So what shall I not do? I shall not keep unsafe Indrani. Hey Surottamaha, O gods, O best gods, Gachadvam. You go to your place. Don't worry about it. Gachadvam means you need not worry about Indrani. Why? Truly, definitely. Hey Surottamaha Gachatvam. You go. Asmin Charte, in this purpose, in this matter, Asmin Charte, Pura, earlier, ancient story is there, Geetam, a song is there. Brahmana Shruyatamidam. Brahmana Geetam, the Lord Creator has sung this story. We call it Gatha also. It has been in the form of poem. Shruyatam, please hear me. Idam this. Nacha asya bijam rohati rohakale. Now, so what will be the consequence of non-protection of the surrenderer? Meaning, when somebody sows the seed, that is the protector, the supposed to be protector, does not protect the surrenderer. Bijam na rohati rohakale. In his field, in his paddy field or any field of grains, the seed doesn't grow. At the time of the correct season, proper season, the seeds do not grow. Nacha asya varsham varshati varshakale. In his country where the protector fails in his duty to protect the surrenderer, no rain comes in the right season. And in the rainy season, the rain does not pour. Then Bhitam Prapannam Pradadadi Shatrave. So what does he do? Instead of protecting the surrenderer, the protector, in fact, transfers the surrenderer to the enemy. So he becomes the victim. The surrenderer becomes the victim in the hands of his enemy. So Bhitam, he is already afraid. He has fallen at the feet, Prapannam. Whereas Pradadati Shatrave, he is pushed to the enemy side. What will happen to such a so-called protector? Saha, he, na antaram labhate tranam ichan. There are two types of meaning here. The person who surrendered to an incapable person cannot be saved. So, tranam na labhate. He is not assured of protection, though he wanted, ichan. So he doesn't get the opportunity, antaram, to get protection. Na antaram labhate tranam ichan. At the same time, so if it is the protector, then the protector is not safe because his sin will kill him. So sahahi, na antaram labhate, he cannot escape from the punishment for the sin committed, namely non-protection of the surrenderer. So even though the protector seeks protection from somewhere else, from some other source, he will not be spared. So that's the meaning. So ஆகையால் தன் இதை செய்ய மாட்டேன், நான் இதை செய்ய மாட்டேன், தேவதைகளே நீங்கள் சொல்லுங்கள். இந்த இது விஷயத்தில் முன் பிரம்மாவினால் கூறப்பட்டதை கேளுங்கள். பயத்தினால் சரணமடைந்தவனை எவன் சத்ருவிடம் காட்டிக் கொடுக்கிறானோ அவன் விதைத்த விதை முளைக்க வேண்டிய காலத்தில் முளைக்கிறதில்லை. மழை பெய்ய வேண்டிய காலத்தில் அவனுக்கு மழை பெய்வதில்லை. So these are all the consequences of the sin, namely non-protection of the surrender. So he has no food to take. Food will not be available to take, and he will not get the rain. So மழை பெய்ய வேண்டிய காலத்தில் அவனுக்கு மழை பெய்வதில்லை. தன்னை ரட்சிக்க விரும்பினால் ஒரு இடம் கிடப்பதில்லை. If the protector wants safety, he doesn't get it. பயந்து சரணம் அடைந்தவனை எவன் சத்துருக்களிடம் காட்டிக் கொடுக்கிறானோ, when the protector, supposed to be the protector, betrays the surrenderer, when the surrenderer is totally fearful and he has fallen at the feet of the protector, when the protector betrays the surrenderer, avan durbalamana manadai. We go to the notes of the next page, 123. We go to the next page of 123. Right. You have to go to the notes. உடையவனாய் வீணாகவே அன்னத்தை அடைகிறான். That means his food is also useless. Even when he gets the food, there is no nourishment. That means the food that he takes ends in vain. Manam murindavanai, his mind is dejected. Swargalokathilirundum nalivi vilugiran. If at all he has gone to heaven, he will fall down from the heaven. இந்திரனோடு கூட தேவர்கள் அவனை வஜ்ராயுதத்தால் அடிக்கிறார்கள். So this is another consequence of the sin committed by non-protection of the surrenderer, namely all the gods along with Indra will hit him hard with the thunderbolt. So இந்திரனோடு கூட தேவர்கள் அவனை வஜ்ராயுதத்தால் அடிக்கிறார். Now we go to 123, page 123, the text. So again, the same Sanskrit, Tamil words can be read in Tamil script words can be read in Sanskrit. Mogamannam vindati cha aprachetaha. Swargalokat brashyati brashtachetaha. Bhitam prabannam pradadati shatrave sendra devaha praharanti asya vajram. Mahabharatam, Udyoga Parva. Udyoga Parva is the chapter. The Mahabharatam, 12th canto, 16th verse. So the same meaning which we read in Tamil is repeated here. Is said here. Mogam annam vindati. In Sanskrit, mogam meaning failure. A person who did not protect the surrenderer will get bad food, useless food. Mogam annam vindati. Annam food. Mogam annam vindati. Vindati gets. Mogam annam vindati means gets bad food. So that will make him unhealthy. And he lost his mind also. Aprachetaha. His mind is not pure. His mind is not holy. His heart is not good. So aprachetaha. Especially the word prachetaha is the name for the god of rain. The god of rain is called Prachetaha. And his son was Valmiki. And therefore Valmiki was called Prachetas. The Prachetaha is named for Varuna, the god of rain. And Prachetaha is name of Valmiki. He was born in a pot. Just like Agastya was born in a pot. Is Kumbha Munihi. Kumbha Munihi we call Agastya. The same way, Valmiki was born in a pot as a son of god of rain. The god of rain, any god for that matter, especially god of rain and god of death, are very regular. In the sense, according to the merits and sins of the people of the world, the rain comes here. And then Yama also, the god of death also takes away the life only when he is perfect in the rules. But he follows very carefully the rules. He doesn't make a mistake. Never a god of death commits an error. So Sargat Lokat Brashyati Brashta Chetaha. So when he lost his mind, so he would slip down from the heaven. Sargat Lokat Brashyati slips down, Brashta Chetaha, losing his mind. Because Beetam Prapannam Pradadati Shatrave. Because he gave up his surrenderer to the enemies, to his enemies, who became so much terribly afraid, and then who was also a surrenderer. So what do? Sendraha Devaha, all gods along with Indra, the leader, Praharanti, they smash him, they throttle him with the thunderbolt, Vajram. So Asya Vajram. Then you have the next verse, which is again about the sin to be washed away. Prayaschittena shuddhyanti Mahapatakamas api ye. Sharanagata hantrinam shuddhihi kva api na siddhyati. Those who have committed grave sins like murder, theft, the betrayal of the preceptor, and so on, they are called Mahapatakamas. There is a list of 5. The other 2, so one is murder, the other is theft, telling lies, then betrayal of the preceptor, Guru Droha. One more. So if there are people who have committed these 5 sins or one of these 5 sins, then they can get a remedy by doing what we call atonement. By expiation, they can get relieved of their sins, even if they are grave out of 5. But whereas those who kill the surrenderer, Sharanagata Hantrinam, people who kill the surrenderer, there is no redemption available. Shuddhihi kapi na siddhyati. Kwapi na siddhyati. Nowhere you can find that they can be purified. So it will never happen. Purification of the souls, or rather protector like souls, who give up the surrender to the enemies, will never happen anywhere. So Rakshasa, demon, Mahapadangalai செய்தவர்களும் தகுந்த பிராயஷ்சித்தத்தினால் சுத்தி அடைகிறார். Those who have committed grave sins can also become purified by remedial action. ஆனால் சரணாகதனை கொன்றவர்களுக்கு எங்கும் சுத்தியே கிடையாது. That means he will not be relieved from that kind of sin. பாபத்திலிருந்து விடுதலையே கிடையாது. So we go to 124. Again, the same Sanskrit version, Tamil version of Sanskrit verse can be read in notes. So, of course, when the word Rakshasa occurred in the previous page, demon, so it was a conversation between a demon and Raghu, the king of the solar race. Puyante hayamedhena. Just one line in the text must be read. Just above these notes. Raghu Rakshasa Sambadatilam Ivartham Prasiddham. So in the dialogue between King Raghu of solar race and a demon, Ivartham Prasiddham. This meaning is obvious. Ittai. Now we have the Puyante Hayamedhena Mahapatakamas Charanagata Hantaraha Natu Eva Rajanichara. So, hey Rajanichara, Rajani is night, Chara is one who moves at night. Rajanichara meaning demon. So Nishachara we call him. O demon, Puyante Hayamedena, by performing horse sacrifice, Mahapatakamas api Puyante. Even grave sinners get some redemption from their sin. Surely, he, Mahapatakamas api, even the grave sinners indeed get purified by performing horse sacrifice. But whereas Sharanagata Hantaraha, those who kill the surrenderer, na tu puyante, they don't get purified. Anytime, anywhere, they will not get purified. Rajanichara. So there is no remedy for them. There is no expiation for them. So, ஏனெனில் மகாபாதகம் செய்தவர்கள் அஸ்வமேத யாகம் செய்து சுத்தி அடைகிறார்கள். சரணாகதனை கொன்றவர்களுக்கோ அப்படி ஒரு பிராயஷ்சித்தமும் கிடையாது. ஒருவித பிராயஷ்சித்தமும் கிடையாது. The next from the next quotation is from Itihasa Samuchayam. Lobhat dveshat bhayat dvapi yastajet charanagatam brahmahatya samantasyam papam ahur manishinaha. So we saw that those who are grave sinners who have committed one of the 5 sins can have remedy by performing a horse sacrifice. Whereas non-protection of the surrenderer is considered a murder. Therefore, it is one of the 5 sins. Brahmahatya is called Brahmahatya, killing a soul. Killing a soul. Of course, there is no soul, death for the soul, but destroying the body. Destroying the body itself is a sin. So, Brahmahatya Samam, it is equal to killing a person, murdering a person. Papam, the sin. The non-protection of the surrenderer is the sin equal to a murder. Manishinaha ahuhu. Great people said this. Noble people said this. Well-wishers of the world said this. Manishinaha ahuhu. Now, how did he happen to kill the surrenderer? Lobhat, out of greed. Out of greed. How can one protector entertain greed over the surrenderer? We do not know. But maybe he is an enemy and therefore dveshat. Dveshat by enmity. Or bhayat, out of fear. Va api, or else. Or something else also. Yaha sharanagatam tejet. One who does not protect the surrenderer. One who gives up the surrenderer to the enemy, then he is supposed to be a murderer. He is considered as a murderer. Perashayalavad. Perashay, the lobhat, the greed can come in any form. Somebody else assures that if you don't protect the surrenderer, I will give you some benefits. He is lured by the benefits. He is attracted by the benefits promised by somebody else. Therefore, the protector becomes greedy. Perashayalavad. Dveshatinalavad, out of enmity towards. So since Ravana was an enemy, so Vibhishana on his side also should be considered an enemy. So Dveshatinalavad. Alladu Bhayatalavad. So being afraid of the enemy, if the surrenderer is not protected, Bhayatalavad, Oruvan Sharanagathani kaivittal, if someone doesn't protect the surrenderer, Anda Papam, that sin, or Brahmahatti Shaidadarku Samanam. It is equal to a murder. என்று அறிவாளர்கள் சொல்கிறார். Wise people say this. So this is Itihasa Samuchayam, 4th chapter, 18th verse. 4th canto and 18th verse. So we can go to 125. Again, let us look at the first line. Shena Rupanana Indrani Kurithi Shibi Chakravarti Sonna. Indra came in the form of vulture in order to test Shibi Chakravarti. That's all. The story is about the pigeon saved by the monarch, the emperor Shibi, in the solar rays, and it was a test to his capacity to protect the surrender. That's all. So Indra came in the form of a vulture. Shena Rupanana Indran. So Shibi told him, Shastreshu Nishkriti Drishta Mahapatakinam api Sharanagata Hantustu na Drishta Nishkritihi Kvachit. The same meaning, 4th chapter, 19th verse. So we saw already 18, and therefore continuity in the verse. There is what we call expiation right, remedial action for those who commit grave sins. Shastreshu, in the sciences, that is in the scriptures, that is the performance of horse sacrifice, is seen. Nishkritihi drishta. Atonement of the sin is understood, is seen. Mahapatakinam, for those who have committed serious sins. But Sharanagata Hantustu, but for the killer of the surrenderer, Nadrishta Nishkritihi Kvachit. Nowhere we find any expiation rite. Nowhere we find atonement ritual. We don't have any remedial action to purify the soul and absolve him of the sin. The next verse, again the same chapter, Itigasa Samuchayam 452. Praninam Madhyamanam tu Yaha Shaktaha Samupekshate Sahayati Narakam Ghoram Iti Rahuhu Manishinaha. Again, wise people say, that is, educated people say, good people say, that a person who is capable of protecting the surrenderer should not do this mistake of killing the surrenderer or entrusting the responsibility of protection of the surrenderer to the enemy, because the enemy is surely to kill. So, Samupekshate, if he wants, Praninam Madhyamanam tu, Praninam is any living being, any creature, includes human beings also. So, Praninam, if he expects the surrenderer to be killed, Madhyamanam tu, so if he is to be killed, Madhyamanam, fit to be, if he feels, the protector feels that the surrenderer must be killed, even though he is capable of protecting him. Yaha Shaktaha. Sayati Narakam Ghoram. So he goes to the worst hell. Ghoram Narakam. There are light types of punishments and there are heavy punishments in hell. So he goes to the worst hell. Sahayati, he goes Narakam Ghoram, worst hell. Iti Prahuhu Manishina. Thus say the good people, the noble people. சாஸ்திரங்களில் மகாபாதகம் செய்தவர்களுக்கும் பிராயஷ்சித்தம் சொல்லப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. சரணாகதனை கொன்றவனுக்கோ ஓரிடத்திலும் பிராயஷ்சித்தம் காணப்படவில்லை. That is 17. 4th canto 17. கொல்லப்படுகிற ஒரு ஜந்துவை தனக்கு சக்தி இருக்கும் போதும் எவன் உபேட்சிக்கிறானோ அவன் கோரமான நரகத்தை அடைகிறான் என்று புத்திமான்கள் சொல்கிறார். So Manishinaha has got a lot of meanings. So noble people, well-wishers of the world, good people, mindful people, knowledgeable people, those who have studied Shastras. So when somebody is capable of protecting a creature, when it is being killed, when he is indifferent toward that creature without saving it, then he goes to the worst hell. So, Pranarchinam imam bhitam dvijam mam sharanagatam. 126. Again, the Itihasa Uttamam. Itihasa Uttamam can be considered, I think, both Ramayana and Mahabharata. Because now we are dealing with the Ramayana episode, namely Vibhishana Sharanagati in the Abhaya Pradana Saram. The Itihasa Uttamam is the best Itihasa, is epic, best epic is Ramayana. So we have again the next sentence. Kapoti tannai katti irukira vedanai rakshikkakkaaga தன் பர்த்தாவான கபோதத்தை குறித்து சொல்லி. The female pigeon has been caught by the hunter, and the hunter had what we call vagura, the net spread, and the bird was caught in the net. And so in order to save the female pigeon, it says to the husband, namely the male pigeon. The male pigeon is addressed. Oh. So, Tejeyam yadi ko mattaha syat naraha papakrit bhuvi shaktopi rakshane lobhat bhayadva sharanagatam yastajet purusho loke brahmahatyam savindati. So the same concept is repeated, but the sentence seems to be a little different from this. Seems to be a hunter's statement, but so bayandu uyirai vendi en sharanamadainda inda paraviyi kaividuvenai aanal. Maybe the male bird must have said this. Sorry, I think the Tamil meaning does not seem to be relevant. Though translation is right. Translation is right. So a human being should be mad not to protect the surrenderer. Because he is mad, a man is mad, he is not protecting the surrender. So he becomes a sinner in this earth. And when he is capable of protecting, and out of greed or fear, so he is not protecting and he is rejecting the surrenderer, then he is supposed to be the murderer. That's the meaning. But Ennai Sharanamadainda in the Paravayai, it is the word of the Paravayai. The bird did not surrender to the hunter surrendered to the bird. So I think the word, Tamil word, in the Paravayai, it should be Vedanai. So Bayandu Uyirai Vendi, so out of fear, asking for life, survival. Ennai Sharanamadainda in the Vedanai Kaividuvenai aanal. Suppose I reject this hunter, Ennai Kaattilum Papi Ivulagil Yaar Irupar. So there is no greater sinner than myself. So Rakshika Shakti Irukumbode, that is the repetition, Ashayalo அல்லது பயத்தாலோ சரணாகதனை கைவிட்ட மனிதன் இவ்வுலகில் பிரம்ம சத்யா தோஷத்தை அடைகிறான். So this is obvious, it has been repeated third time. So a person who is capable of protecting the surrenderer should never give up the surrenderer, and therefore by some reason or other, namely greed or fear, if a protector leaves the surrenderer, then he is the real murderer. So that is the concept. Then you have Bharatam Shanti Parva. In Mahabharata, you have Shanti Parva. There are a lot of pieces of advice there. So 144th canto and 25th verse. Yogi kaschit dvijam hanyat gancha lokasya mataram Saranagatancha yohanyat tulyameshancha patakam. Tamil meaning, Brahmananai kondravanukum, ulagukku thai pondra pasuvai kondravanukum, Sharanagadanai kondravanukum undahum papam samaname. So, none of us must kill any living being, generally, and especially those who have studied scriptures. So, Dvijam Hanyat. So, you can also take the word Dvijam as bird. So, bird also has got two births because it comes out as an egg from the belly of the mother bird, and again from the shell of the egg it comes out. Therefore, a bird has two births, and therefore a bird is called a Dvija. And yeah. So another meaning of the word Dvija is our teeth in our mouth. Because in the initial stage, that is in childhood, the tooth grows, the teeth grow. And after some time, at the age of 8 or so, 7 or 8, they fall down. Another new teeth grow. Next row of teeth grow. And therefore, the tooth that grows twice is called Dvija in Sanskrit. So Dvija meaning twice born. A person who is naturally born from the mother's womb, and then secondly, his birth is by Upanayanam. So by the sacred thread, sanctification, so a human being is supposed to be twice born. And therefore, a twice born must not be killed. And one cannot afford to kill any cow, gom, because it is lokasya mataram. And it is the mother of the whole world, universe. And third type of murder, Sharanagatancha yohanyat. If somebody kills the surrenderer, then tulyameshancha patakam. So all these three are equal. They are the same. Namely, one who kills the Brahmin, one who kills the cow, and one who kills the surrenderer. All of them are equal as a sinner. Mahapataka is first only one murder is there. Now he has 3 persons murdering, each murdering someone. One murders the Brahmin, yeah. Not 3 in 1. All the 3 are separately equal to them, equal to each other. What's I mean? Not 3 in 1. Unfortunately, except the state called Gujarat in India, all the cows are slaughtered in all the states. Now cows are slaughtered in all the states, especially Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So it is very unfortunate. So, yohi kaschit dvijam hanyat. That doesn't mean when you say dvijam hanyat, we cannot deduce the meaning that a Kshatriya, a Vaishya and Shudra can be killed. That's very important. So a Kshatriya also a Dvija because he has studied scriptures. The Vaishya also, what you call under Trivarna, should have studied the meaning of the scriptures. Some Vaishyas even utter the Vedic sentences. And only category is Shudras, last one, fourth caste, fourth Varna. And we also have Panchama, the fifth caste. And that doesn't mean Dvijam Hanyat meaning doesn't mean that all others can be killed. No. It's only a example to say that is more serious sin. That's all. So we go back to the page 126. If there is some word has missed. Right. So what did the bird, pigeon, female bird, tell the male bird, its husband? That is already obvious, known. And what you should have said is, we are going to read it in page 127 maybe. The female pigeon told the male pigeon that this hunter must be saved, and therefore, though I have been caught by him, so I will be killed by him, my flesh will be eaten by him, and what you do is, you also fall into the fire, and you also sacrifice your flesh to the hunter to appease his hunger. These must be the words, and that is the expectation of Rama at least. Rama expects such a story, that the sacrificial tendency of the birds, even small creatures like birds. What about the human being? So Rama as a human being, Rama as God, he can extend protection to anyone, including Vibhishana, or rather Ravana also. Of course, the essence is protection should be extended to the surrenderer at all costs. That's the meaning. So the purpose of the, as you said, propagation of Vedanta Deshika's Ragasya Granthas like Abhaya, Pradana, Saram, is to encourage people to go deeper in analysis of this concept of Abhaya Pradana. That's the purpose of our discussion. And also,
it is only a line. Let them make the road on that, no problem, because
right.
It is up to them to.
And what I want to say also, another word meaning, and namely, we have a group thinking. So we are, as a group, we think of the meditate on this concept, and therefore we can of course.
Thinking line is same, so we will never is give and take. We accept it. It is like that. So that way only you have to share these things.
Right. It's what we call again I say group thinking. That's it.
Ramanujadayabhadram jnana vairagya bhushanam Jivavenkatanathajam Vande Vedanta Devi Vidadigasaya Kalyana Gunasali Srimate Venkatesa Vedanta Gurave Adidvivashiro Bhanta Panchana Parakrama Iman Venkatanatha Irondrudo Venkadamudaya Barondrujana Varamoli Orundrudani Amayado Darini Varvarkwani Rapomalavum
रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम् कवितार्किकसिंहाय कल्याणगुणशालिने श्रीमते वेङ्कटेशाय वेदान्तगुरवे नमः சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய.